It's so tough because as a manager you have to come out, you face the cameras, and it's really tough because obviously as you're learning, you know, there is harsh words in dressing rooms. We have great travelling support. Burton were excellent first half at times. They put us under a lot of pressure. We'd managed that. We'd reached a point in the game where we were taking control of the game. We've missed a penalty. We've hit the underneath of the bar. We're in total control, dominating the ball. And again, a silly mistake in possession leads to a goal, a penalty, and we sit here talking about a defeat when it should have been a point at a tough ground. Unfortunately, it's not that. So we wish Burton well. You know, unfortunately for us, as we say, it's a tough lesson if the truth be known, because it didn't felt we deserved to lose the game.
Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to Sunday, 15th of August, Talking Town, the number one podcast for Ipswich Town fans, for fans, by fans. I'm, of course, your host, Martin the Governor Lambert, and that was our manager, Paul Cook, after, sadly, a disappointing defeat. A defeat is what it was. We're going to try and pick the bones apart and just see where it went wrong. We've got Rich, obviously, who went. We've got Callie coming on at some point to give his thoughts, having been at, I still believe it's called the Pirelli Stadium. And of course, we want to hear from you guys and girls who have seen the action, seen the highlights. Even if you haven't, if you've got an opinion, get involved. This is your show. As always, we do say a huge thank you to all of our Fifth Stand Ultras. They are, of course, our Ko-Fi supporters. Some of them are on the screen right now. I hope Alex is doing very well today. Nice to speak to you last night, Alex. Thank you so much for your support through our Ko-Fi channels. Of course, if you do enjoy what we do consider supporting us from as little as £5 a month or any one-off donation. It all goes towards new tech, putting it back into the stream to try and give you a better show, if that's possible, which I know. I keep thinking it's not, and then we keep beating it. That's what we do here at Talking Town. Right. This morning, I have been a busy man. We have got a GOAT. We have got Media Mogul Story. We've got Crunching Tackle. I mean, the Media Mogul Story might take a whole half an hour in itself, but we'll try and get through in an hour. First and foremost, the Prediction League. I've been busy, beaving away, as Cammy would say. We've got 9 people sat atop of the leaderboard with 6 points, 24 with 3, and then a whole load, and I mean a whole load of us, me included, sat on a big fat 0. Crunch has also sat on a big fat 0, and Matt, surprise, surprise, I haven't seen his name in there once yet. What's going on, Media Mogul? Get your finger out. And of course, we've got the Fantasy Football League we'll get stuck into a bit later on. But typically, Norwich did help a lot of you out. You all saw Norwich getting pummeled, and there's a lot of 3-0s on the Prediction League, and that's where a lot of our points this week have come from. Right, Anthony Steele, welcome in. He's on 6 points. He's doing really well. Tom Pips, welcome in. Harry Butcher, wish we could have dominated the team for 90 minutes and win by 4 or 5. Stephen Parry, no one error gave them the win. We were dominant. An error did, Steve. It's Penny, and I did call that last week. But we'll get into that a bit later on. Want to become famous? Apparently, I already am. I've got a no context account. I mean, what more do you want? Right, let's bring in a contributor. We've got 3 of them to bring in. Let's bring in, first and foremost, our Media Mogul. He was with me. Well, not with me, but he was at home yesterday. So here he is. Matthew Philip, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. You're looking forward to Media Mogul a bit later. You've got 18 pages of pictures.
Yeah. Just let everyone know I'm missing out on a trip to the cinema today for this pod. I'm missing Paw Patrol the movie.
That's right up your street as well. Although it might be a little bit too intellectually challenging for you. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe.
I'm not quite sure.
There's going to be a movie theme to the show a little bit later. That's part
there
of the
is.
story. So
Facebook user, I'm still very angry. And then Felixstowe Blues, a club that still doesn't win games. Media Mogul, you're a big Cookie fan in the summer last season.
Yeah.
You heard him at the start of the show.
Yeah.
Dominated, but just couldn't find a way. How are you seeing it before we get stuck into it?
Well, we did say, if you've been regularly watching these shows, we did say be ready for maybe a slow start to the season. That's happened. Even Friday night, I said, very tough game. Could lose it. We've probably got enough to get a point. Had we scored the penalty, we probably would have done. But we've lost. Deal with it. 44 games to go. A team that's still gelling. It was disappointing to see Fraser miss the penalty. When you actually boil the game down, it's the story of 2 penalties, isn't it? We miss ours and Burton score theirs. And that's how what fine lines and fine marginal gains, isn't it, at the end of the day? So we were told, we both said this, didn't we, Mark? We were told by the MK guys, this guy doesn't miss pens. Gets his first opportunity and he misses it. So I felt like it wasn't very good. And it took a long while, to be fair. And I know the guys on the East Anglian said it took a long while to take the penalty. Just because of Burton delaying it, and I think maybe someone got irked and all that kind of malarkey. But it wasn't a great pen. I'm not a fan of these people that kind of vary their run up, and then there's a little stutter, and then he takes it. Do a Tommy Miller straight in 100 miles an hour.
Well, yeah, I think the goalkeeper did very well. He stood up. Where, I see. We'll get into Hladky a bit.
Well, Hladky was a total.
Fucking he telegraphed it, Matt. He was on the floor before the player didn't put the ball on the floor.
He's well known for being a penalty saver as well. So I was kind of expecting him to at least go the right way, but he didn't. So there we go.
You know me and goalkeepers, I've got a very, very high expectation level.
You said you didn't know anything about goalkeeping last week, but it turns out you were a keeper for what, 5, 6, 7 seasons?
It must have been 7 years in total. Yeah. That's what happens when you're a manager of a club and there's no goalkeeper. And it's like, well, I want to play centre half, but I'll go in goal. That wasn't too bad actually. That was pretty good. I love Harrogate dominated. Yes. Yeah. I was quite flexible when I had a good working back. Harrogate dominated. We only had a couple of shots. Right, let's bring in the cruncher because he was there. But first and foremost, let's hear firstly from Cookie again.
But until we get the squad fully fit, until we get everybody available, then we probably won't know our strongest team. So it's all educational at the minute. Whilst we know we've got to win games, we're not stupid. If we want to be promoted, we have to get points. But the reality is we will get up and run, and that's for sure.
I'm not stupid. We have to win games if we get promoted. Cruncher, you were there.
Back in the chat, there was Facebook user. He wanted to know how to subscribe, Martin. So tell him what to do.
I will do. Tell us what you thought yesterday. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to tell me privately. Okay. You need to head to YouTube and you need to hit the button that says subscribe. You need to make an account if you haven't yet got one. It's very easy. It takes all about 2 minutes. All in 2 minutes. I mean, if Cruncher can work it, anyone can work it. That's
how many likes are we going for today's show? We'll let Matt Phillips set the bar, shall we?
Okay, well, hang on, Matt. Currently, you've got 83 people watching on YouTube, 1 person on Twitch, and 15 on Facebook. So, give me your.
We want 80 likes.
80.
Come on, if you're watching on YouTube, just hit like.
Well, it's easy
now, right?
85 now on YouTube. Got 14 currently alike. So, a bit of smashing of the button to do. Sean Aldridge, Crunch. This team is 100 times better than last season.
Definitely.
Bam was a disappointing result for sure. It was great to be back at an away game. There are parts we can definitely improve, but also areas to be positive. We have a long way to go. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I had a message from Colin, the MK fan, who you remember we had on the when we signed Scotty Fraser.
Jinx.
And he just tweeted me saying, "You are giving him his porridge every morning, aren't you?" Because I said about the penalty. So maybe that's what we're not doing, and that's where we went wrong.
He jinxed it. He really jinxed it.
I don't know, because it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because he used to play for Burton. I don't know. Did that have an effect on him? Was there any players? Probably Lewis Aikins. He's been there for years. He would have known probably where he puts him. I don't know. Has he had a word with the goalkeeper? Look, Callie's going to come on. I stood with Callie yesterday. He telegraphed where he was putting it. The goalie, look, he did stand up. I'm not having you moaning at our goalkeeper. Should be saving a penalty. Piss off. Get in the bin,
Good.
Martin.
Whoa! Did I say the word?
The token dive. It weren't great, was it?
Even he's agreeing with me. Look, even he's.
I'm
I
a
didn't say he
Ladky
should
fan.
save it.
I'm a Ladky fan. He wasn't saving that, was he?
I didn't say he should save it, did I? I just said
It
he
wasn't.
telegraphed the dive. So it was.
That's how
So
it goes. That's how it goes. I wouldn't be. What, you going to give him a mark down for that?
Yeah.
That's Matt. That's Matt. That's not me. That's not me. For once, I'm not sat. For once,
Did
if I
you
speak,
hear?
I'm in trouble.
So driving back, we listened to the phone in on Suffolk with Graham Mack because I didn't listen live. And did you hear Craig who was on there?
Got a question here from John
No.
Thorpe. Guys, can you get the Craig guy who calls Radio Suffolk up after most games on
He's
the
always
show?
on. He's always on there, isn't he?
He said he doesn't care what people think of him. And a lot of the stuff he said was
someone
correct.
else.
But is that you? Well, it was great to hear him and Alex Maffey going at each other, and you think, yeah, away days are back. It was great to go to the game. Great to go with my boys. You know, we missed going away. We went to the pub before. We bumped into Josh from away days, and it's just it was normality. You know, we went to the game and then we kicked off, and then we didn't start for 15, 20 minutes. The first half, I think. There's two teams in the game, guys, and you have to give Burton credit. They did not give us a second on that ball. They were in our faces, pressing high. But I did say at half-time to some people around us, they won't be able to keep that up for the whole 90 minutes. You know, to all that energy that they expended in that first 45, you can't do that for 90 minutes. And then second half, we got on top, and it is small margins, guys. We know, look, if Fraser scores the penalty or if the one from Edwards goes in that hits the crossbar, we'll win that game. And it seems at the minute, every mistake we're making... Look, I know when you concede a goal, you can pick apart everything, can't you? And it's not just Matt Penny giving away the penalty when he clipped him. It's Lee Evans giving the ball away in a poor area. And you have to cut out them little mistakes. And it was interesting, Cookie said afterwards, if people keep making mistakes, they won't play.
He did say
That's
that,
just the way it is. But
he don't
it was
mean Evans
just-
there, does he?
well, no.
Because
But-
he ain't got another midfielder.
And the first half, we obviously... It was a soft free kick the referee gave for the first goal, but we'd switched off. We were asleep. Vincent Young's up the pitch. They've got in down the right-hand side. Wolfenden's come across, which he's had to do, and no one's picking up Matey, who's come in, one touch, bang, it's in the net. And we can all... People are probably going to say, oh, Wolfenden again. I thought he played all right yesterday. I thought he had a decent game, a lot better than last week.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I agree. I think Kane was at fault, to be honest. If we've got to find... I don't really like looking for fault on players. But Kane looks like he's lost a yard of pace to me.
I said in the post-match show, Matt, when I was on with Martin, he looks way off the player he was 18 months ago. But you have to take into account we played 2 games. And let's see what we can do moving forward.
Yeah, great.
All right, a few comments. HCH9990. Morning, H. No idea why Fraser isn't playing number 10. Birmingham made a blinding save from Edwards. Really top draw save. And Piggott should have taken the pen to get him off the mark for the season. Johnny.
It's easy saying that. Listen, it's easy saying that. He scored 9 out of 9 at MK. And that run that he took yesterday, Matt, if you watch them penalties he took for MK, he does the same thing, Fraser. So he's not changed his run-up.
Okay.
Just poorly executed. Poorly executed it.
I was buzzing when we could hear it was a pen. I was thinking he's going to bury this, but I watched the game back today. I thought when I watched it back on the 90 minutes today on the town website, I thought he'd slipped when he first took it, but I think it was.
Callie makes a really interesting point there in the chat about Evans, and I see him a couple of times last Saturday against Morecambe. For a holding midfielder, he gets caught the wrong side of the ball quite a lot of times.
You see, interesting. Yesterday, I thought Harper was anonymous in the game yesterday. I thought he may not have just bothered to get.
Second half, he came into the game. He came into the game second half.
I thought Harper yesterday was the Harper that Chris had warned us about. Not being motivated, not being up for it, not being ready for it. Can go missing at times. And you know how much I love Raheem Harper. I think he's a great player, and I called him Player of the Year. Yesterday, I want him to go to places like Burton and just take
5 minutes
control
of
of
the
the game.
pre-season game of the run he did.
I know.
Didn't he,
I
Matt?
wanted it yesterday. Yesterday is the sort of game I'm fully expecting to take full control and dictate what goes on. But right, let's hear from Lee Evans, and then we're going to hear or bring in our final member of the team, lovely Kate Riley. Here is Mr. Lee Evans.
As you say, disappointing to lose. I think we concede the first goal, then we have a great response, get back, get the goal to make it 1-1. And I think in the second half we really should have, as you say, should have never lost to the game, and if worst result should have been a 1-1 draw and go back home and take the draw. Great response. As you say, I think 2 bad goals for us to concede, but as you say, positive to get straight back in. I think we started the second half well on the front foot, and as you say, I think we should have left here with a draw, but we have to learn, and we have to try and cut out some individual errors.
2 bad goals to concede, Kate, but lots to learn from. How are you, first and foremost, from Singapore? How is life over there?
Yeah, hello everyone. Good afternoon from Singapore. Yeah, we're okay. We had some restrictions lifted this week, so that's good. Yeah, I'll be able to eat in a restaurant come Tuesday because I'll be 14 days past my second jab. So have a sort of glimpse into what life used to be like. So that'll be good. Yeah, kind of. I was really looking forward to my season debut. Such a shame that we're not talking about a win.
But this is it. You're winning by the sounds of it, but the football club sadly hasn't picked up a win this season. How are you feeling about it? You know, obviously being one of our overseas fans and everything else. What's your thoughts?
Okay, so I feel like one thing we didn't discuss this summer, well, maybe when I was on the pod, was like we didn't really think, we'd have like a nightmare start to the season under the new owners. And whilst I'm not calling for Paul Cook to leave or anything like that, I mentioned it last season that I was shocked that we didn't have the Paul Cook new manager bounce effect. And I'm also a bit saddened that we haven't started our season well. And also, big shout out to Craig on the phone in. Where's Craig? Let's get him on. Not that I don't want to do myself out of a position on the pod, but he definitely has the chutzpah to do well on this pod as a guest.
Does anyone know Craig? Does anyone know who he is?
No.
Craig, if you're watching, come forward. If you're watching,
he's a bit like me. I like him, Matt, because he comes on there and he says, "I don't care what people think of what I'm saying."
He's a
and
plant.
Think, yes,
he's a plant.
You're spot on.
He's a bee plant. That's what he is.
He's always been on there, and he tells it as it is. You know, he's honest. And he wasn't saying for Cookie to go. He said he was just disappointed in the 3 results we've had so far. And he said there was a couple of players he'd have kept. He said from the old regime.
You know, like, I'm just curious to know what the new owners are, how patient they are, bearing in mind, you know, they're American, they're American businessmen. You know, results need to be delivered. It's a different beast. It's a different mindset. And so I'm just curious really to know what they're thinking and maybe how long Paul Cook.
It's a great question. It's a great question. And I don't think, sorry to cut across you, I don't think anyone with a link to them will ever get a real answer because you're never going to have that known, if you like. I do wonder, Kate, if maybe 16 games, because that's 17 now, but how long an NFL season is. And maybe they view that as a good period of time in which you can view a culture, view performances, view results. Because if you can judge
19
a whole
games, it's 19 games.
What is 19 games? Cook is that how he's
been here for 19 games?
Yeah, but I'm talking about this season. You can't judge him on last season. That's you know, that's a news.
But people are. That's the point. A lot of people are judging him on what happened last season. You judged him on last season as well.
I did last season, yeah. But you completely ripped it up.
How long before you judged him on last season? Because I know you're not a Cook fan.
Well, yeah.
You're not a Cook fan. Don't come in and say that you are because you're not.
I'm not. I'm trying to be Johnny in the middle, but. Look, last year was shite. I think they could have done better. I think they capitulated too easy. I think he went in there and ripped up a squad or upset a squad that, yes, it wasn't great, but it was better than AFC Wimbledon getting beat 3-0. This year, I've seen green shoots, as Marcus Evans would say. We're playing really good stuff. Like last year, or under Lambert, we were winning games, not playing well. People were saying, we're not playing well, but we're winning. But what happens and then suddenly we stopped winning. but continued playing not well and playing crap. Right now, we're playing really well. Like yesterday at Burton, when I've watched it back the same as Matt has, I've seen us play really well and not win. Morecambe, I've seen us play really well.
Did you think we played really well yesterday? Did you think we played really well yesterday?
I thought we dominated for about 70 minutes. I thought, even when people say Burton had a bit,
different game, because the first half we were not at the races. We weren't at the
I didn't
races.
see Headladke after about 20 minutes. I didn't see Headladke. He might as well have been, sat
He never had to make a save. If you look at
watching the pre-game show. That's what he might have
Did
been.
Did their goalkeeper have to make a save? He saved the penalty and he flicked it was a cross. It wasn't a shot from Edwards. It was a speculative cross onto the crossbar. Other than that, did we test their goalkeeper?
No, we did not. And that's where I question Cookie again, because I felt his subs, Matt, didn't go from plan A to plan B. I've always felt with Cookie, it's plan A or nothing
We've
at all.
got in the chat anyway. Look who we got. We've got Fan Zone Royalty. Ashley Simon's in the show.
Welcome in, Ash. I thought Touch was Fan Zone Royalty.
He is. He's podcast royalty touches. He's even got his own caps out now. I want it. If he's watching, I want one of them caps. I want one.
He'll be watching. I'm not a big fan of Cookie substitutions, Matt.
there were surprises in the starting lineup yesterday, wasn't there? I think I thought Dobber and Barry were probably going to start there. Dobber probably didn't deliver what we wanted.
Bin.
Barry played quite advanced, I thought. If you actually look
Dobber in the bin.
He took.
Barry's
done all right.
Dobber looked like he needed more armbands.
Thought he'd done all right. I thought Dobber was better than Barry, to be honest.
In what world?
You're watching from a different angle from us.
You're in a shite view there, Crunch, quite frankly. you may as well have stayed at home, pal. You need a bigger orange box to stand on.
Lee Brown there, look, we were poor in the first half, and he's absolutely spot on. We were poor in the first half.
So what changed at half time? Because all the reports that I read were like Town were much better in the second half. So
First half, Kate, they harried us, they pressed us, they didn't let us play. But they'd put a lot of energy into that first 45 minutes, and there's no way they could keep that up for 90 minutes. And I thought, they're going to have a drop-off second half of it. And that's when we did come into the game. And saying that, we had a lot of the ball, but we didn't ever really open them up. We put a couple of really good crosses in there, guys, and their centre-half, one of them, he done really well from nearly under the crossbar to get it over for a corner. But it's like Pigott. I'm not judging Pigott yesterday because we haven't seen the best of him because we've not really got him into the game. The first half, it went from Heladke out to Vincent Young, back to Heladke, back to Wolverton, back to Heladke, big long hoof up to Pigott, and the big centre half nodded it away every time. Now, that wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. But all Burton were playing for, really, they pressed us. They had loads of long throws, didn't they? Get that long throw, the fullback trots over from one side to the other, taking an absolute... The referee, again... Where do they get these officials from? He was absolutely abysmal. And even our penalty, penalty was soft. It was a soft penalty.
It was a penalty. It was a penalty.
No, and it was fucking 5 yards away from me. I was there, mate. It was a soft penalty.
Fuck me, man. If you get clattered, it's a penalty. That don't matter if it's soft or hard. It's a penalty. I hate the phrase. That's one of my goats. Soft penalty.
He was on the way down. Barry was on the way down. He was
when he got crumpled. Yeah, he was when he got crumpled. Convenient, man. Anyway, Away Day Beers Company first. Oh, by the way, I've got a lovely Forza Paolo to be having this afternoon. That Wimbledon goal. We have to remember that Wimbledon goal. What a volley that was.
The most important thing I want to know, Martin, did you sleep on the sofa last night?
I did not. Last night.
He's back in the good books. He's back in the good books.
Oh, thank goodness. Let's all be grateful.
Anyway, Wimbledon, the teeniest link was on this day we signed Herman Hardison from Wimbledon. Can you all tell me how much for?
4.5 million.
Oh, yeah, about 4 mil, wasn't it?
Guess who was at his unveiling?
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you told me about that. What were you doing? Walking down the drive or something, and you bumped into him?
You know, the old ticket office used to be down the drive, didn't it?
Yeah.
So we were down there getting the season tickets. We left the ticket office, and Sean Friars, I think his name was there. And we said, what's going on around there? And he said, oh, they're just signing a player around there. So we just walked round onto the pitch and we stood there watching Herman with his shirt, and we were getting death looks from George Burley. He was not happy. So I think I'm the reason why perhaps they've moved everything away from the stadium, because they didn't want me and my dad stood there watching, shaking Herman's hand and everything. It was a brilliant moment. I'll always remember that. But,
if you do watch the game back on the town website, they've got the BBC Derbyshire commentary, and they didn't like the referee either. But they also, I think their names are Tony Bentley and Dave Fletcher. They might as well just have handed a mic to two Burton fans. Every time we got something.
That's another thing, there. What is it? You can't watch it on iFollow, but the next day you can watch the whole game back.
No, it doesn't make any sense, does it? Might as well just show it live. That's
talking of Ashley Simmons, Ashley, I know I'm no advocate of being calm, but given the huge amount of change, we need to be patient. Some good points build on and more 5-yard passes than last season. I'll bring in Hawks, our first fan coming in. Hawks, you've seen Ashley's comments there. Are you in agreement with Ash there, or are you a bit worried?
Nah, look, I'm not going to throw my toys out the pram just yet, like some are. I do get the frustration. The thing that's really getting me is the saying, "It weren't our day." You know, we've had not our day since 2008, probably. It's
just got relegated from the Premier League.
It's just frustrations boiling over from the Evans era, really. I don't think you can. I think you have to judge Cook on last season as well. I don't think you can't, you know. We were in the playoffs when he took over. That's fact. We were in the playoffs when he took over. And that squad, although it weren't good, it weren't great by any stretch of imagination. Like Martin said earlier, it was better than a 3-0 thumping at Wimbledon, weren't it? Just while I'm on here, changing the subject as well, just to catch a few fish, I watched Flynn Downs perform a masterclass in the Championship last night as well.
Yes.
That's just for you fishermen, that is, all right?
Love it.
But other than that...
And for the fishermen as well, I bumped into some QPR fans at the services and they were raving about Dazelle. They said he's not giving the ball away yet.
Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable, isn't it? You can't do that on the bench, though, can you, to be fair? So,
yeah, I watched the 90 back like you guys did this morning. We probably weren't as bad as I thought we were. I don't think Brenner really did us any favours on Radio Suffolk with a commentary throughout it. Then I don't think he ever does. This whole penalty thing, I hate this whole tippy-tappy penalty, like the run-up. What happened to the old school Alan Shearer absolutely hammering it in the top bin? You know what I mean? If it then gets saved or you miss it, no problem. You know what I mean? Because you've had a right good go. But this whole... I know that's how he takes his penalties. I've seen his 9 from MK, but it's just... It's so bad when it misses it.
There's too many things that can go wrong, Hawks, with that for me.
Yeah. It's just...
Too much thinking time.
Yeah, I feel like too many players, as they're running up, kind of change their mind. Whereas Shearer always said, pick your corner, absolutely nail it in that corner. I just feel like when they're on the run-up, I'm not sure they know what corner they're putting it in, you know?
Kate makes a really good point there, Hawks, about too much thinking time, because there was a lot of time between when the penalty was given. It must have been about 90 seconds from when it was given until when he took it, because the referee was sort of making his mind up if he was going to book their guy. And then you're standing there, you're thinking... I was confident he'd score. I thought, look, I've seen you take penalties for MK, and it was powder puff, weren't it? It weren't nowhere near the corner.
Weren't great by any means.
See, I actually think... Go on, Matt. I
was going to say, the best pen I've seen, Hawks, in recent times was Maguire's in the Euro final.
Oh, that's what I mean. Goes up, laces through it. Solid penalty, you know?
I actually think, though, you've got to give the goalkeeper a round of applause. And that's actually the goalkeeper, because he stood up. He was not going to be beaten by anything but a good penalty. Like, he's not going to go down early and make it easier for you, Scott Fraser. I'm going to stand up.
On it, Martin. Come on.
Because he stood up, though. And Scott Fraser's little stop is to make the goalkeeper make a movement. Fraser wants the keeper to make his decision for him. So he checks the run, and the keeper goes left, you go right, or vice versa. The keeper just stood there and said, I ain't moving, you decide. And at that point, he froze.
Interesting. Who takes the next one then? Because we've got... Piggott used to take him at AFC, didn't he? You've got Fraser. Does Fraser have another go the next time we get one?
No, you get Piggott off the mark now for me.
He needs a goal to get off the mark, actually.
Yeah. I
He was
agree.
lucky not to get given the one yesterday, wasn't he?
I thought he scored yesterday. I thought it was a great header, but it was
Yeah.
an OG. Good ball in the box though by Lee Evans.
Yeah, very
We're
good.
looking deadly from set pieces all of a sudden.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
nice to see.
Thought the new lad who come on, the winger, can't think of his name off the top.
Edwards.
Of my head, very
Jamal
good.
Edwards.
Carl Walker.
Looked very good. Looked very raw. He looked
Yeah.
looked a bit hungry, didn't he?
He could.
What's he?
If he's in, he could start Tuesday, maybe.
The one thing I do remember thinking yesterday, come the end of it, like what I can only go on really what Brenner was saying at the time, is Paul Cook said pre-season that he wants players that will run for 90 minutes, run through brick walls. It didn't kind of feel like that the whole 90 minutes yesterday. I don't know if I was just, I know it.
I know what you mean. We said earlier, didn't we, with Kane Vincent-Young? I don't know. I'm a huge fan of his, as you all know, but he just seemed well off the pace for me.
Yeah,
Seemed
I
well off
agree.
the pace for me. He was almost cantering back for the first one, and then there was the space in there which made Penny have to commit that challenge for the pen.
Not the player he was.
No,
Can you run for 90 minutes if you're a League One player?
Well, he's supposed to have been working nothing but fitness this summer. We're supposed to be the fittest squad Town have ever had. I would imagine.
I mean, it sounds cynical, but
You're not a big Cookie fan, are you, Kate?
I don't feel as though it's very difficult because I'm not at the games, right?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. So I only get to see it through the screen. I just wish I had lots of results to go on. I guess I come from the perspective of like, what am I going to feel like when I wake up and see the result? Oh, I'm really pissed off again and again and again and again. So it's very rare. I'm grateful I didn't stay up till like 3 o'clock in the morning watching that nonsense or listening to that nonsense. So
it's a result business, okay. It's a result business, and that is what he will be deciding. And this is why there's now a clear split in the fan base, because it is a results business, and he has not picked up the results at this football club.
I was saying to Ben Adams, Martin, this morning. He gives him 10 games. I said, what? So 10 games and then you want him out? He said, no, 10 games and then I'm going to question him. Well, for me, he gets the whole season. Unless it goes absolutely pear-shaped, he does. He gets the whole season. You can't go keep changing your manager because you'll have another manager come in. He'll want another load of players. And then it's just that cycle. You've got to trust it. You have to trust it, because otherwise, what is the point?
We should have given it to Matty Gilly for a season. Right, John, Hox, as
well,
always,
Martin.
love you, appreciate you. I'm going to bring in Callie at the game yesterday. Callie, a few comments before you do tell us how it went. Johnny, didn't see them give up, just weren't good enough. Michael Finch, when you have KVY clear down the wing and the bloke who's 3 yards behind.
Just got something interesting I want to ask Callie. You know when they took the knee, Callie, yesterday?
Yeah.
There was a few boos, weren't there, from the town end?
Yeah.
It's disappointing. Yeah,
I knew they were doing. I got a message anyway to say they were going to do the knee anyway, so I had a little video ready anyway. And then towards the end, you can hear, probably behind us towards the left, or behind the middle.
I see you looking.
It was the same at the Cole U game. So there's a few there, and it was I think, did we do it at Morecambe? I think there's a few there as well. I don't think we did.
They didn't do it at Morecambe, did they? Didn't do it in the Morecambe game.
No.
They did.
It's down. Oh, in the Morecambe. That's what I mean. I've heard each Ipswich game I've been to, I've heard a few little boos, but it's got to the point where I'm not saying, because we can't say, oh, the Ipswich fans are like that, because generally when you listen to it, the applause drowns it out, right? And there's more people against, against that shit anyway, right? And we're more supportive in it and an equal club anyway. But football, like anything else, is just a reflection on society. So there are going to be a few idiots, but they weren't loud enough for everyone to hear it. So that was a positive. But we don't want to go too much into that one. But it is what it is. On the whole, as a minority supporting Ipswich, I've never had any problems there. Certainly not from Ipswich fans. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, frigging yesterday, man, it was just, we're talking about building a team. We're talking about all this and all the rest of it. Like, this was a better performance for me than when we beat Burton last year, when McGuinness scored that scrappy header. I know we got, and hear me out, and I know we got a performance there, but you can see what Cookie's trying to do. Cookie's building a team that's going to be competitive, not just in League One, but in the Championship. right? When they start ticking, when they start going, I said last week when I was on here, I said give them 10 games. That's the end of September. 10 league games takes us to the end of September, right? At that point, these players will know. At that point, these players will know. And I'll give an example of each of the goals that we've conceded. All the goals we've conceded in the league so far have been sloppy mistakes from our side. It's not because we've been beaten by better teams or they've jinked past a man or something like that. It's been our sloppiness, right? So if you look at yesterday's game, the free kick's given, Fraser jogs a little, then it's a quick free kick. KVY, like you were saying, Matt, he looks to have just lost a bit of yard of pace or whatever. So he's trying to catch up. Wolf, I know Wolf's going to get like a bit of criticism, and I've been a massive critic of his anyway, right?
Done the right thing,
I don't think he could have done exactly. I don't think he could have. That was right in front of us, that goal, right? I don't think he could have done anything else.
Midfield. One of them holding midfielders should be tracking that guy in the box.
And if you look, when you watch it back, because I don't know, like Matt said, you got extended highlights in the full 90 minutes on iFollow the next day. So I watched the extended highlights, and you could see Evans is getting back in there. He wasn't there. He was a spare man. He's almost gone on the goal line. He's in line with the goalie. He's followed the ball more than that. Now that's maybe down to not knowing your teammates' positioning and how they're going to react. And that's the same thing with Penny's thing. When Penny gives away that penalty, and it is a penalty, right? He's clipped him as he's come back, right? When he gives away that penalty, when you played with your goalkeeper for 19 games, you know whether your goalkeeper likes to stand big and brave and can handle a one-on-one, or whether you need to kind of dive in and intervene. They don't know that understanding yet, right? So that will all build. It was a lot better performance. I agree with what Crunch was saying about Dobra and Barry. I thought Dobra was more effective in the game. His decision-making is annoying. He needs to find that, because there's a couple of times where he could have had a good ball or he could have had a shot or something like that. We didn't test their keeper a lot. They didn't test our keeper. We did put a lot of pressure on him in some areas, but then certainly for the first 20, 30 minutes, even after we scored the first goal, it was like last season where we're passing around the back four, into the midfield, and then the long ball forward. Keeper's kicking was off to begin with. Our penalty miss itself, I think the way, all the timing and all the rest of it, I think Fraser was getting a few boos and a bit of shit from the Burton out crowd, because I think when he left, it went kind of on a bad kind of vibe from Burton, so they gave him a bit of shit. So that was in him. He didn't look confident, and we could see it. He's going that corner, and it was a poor penalty. It wasn't a great save. The keeper just fell down. He didn't need to actually dive. It wasn't in the corner. It was here. But I know we're talking about next penalty takers. I'd still, 9 in 9 for last season. Just give him another chance, and if he misses again, then give it to Pickett.
Can I ask you, Kelly? You said we were playing a bit like last season, that second half, backwards and forwards. First up, but not really penetrating. As the game went on, and we started to build, but couldn't quite find that key to unlock the Burton back line and test the goalkeeper. Do you feel Cookie's substitutions changed the game in any way, or do you feel it was more of a like for like, we'll keep going with plan A regardless? How did you see the changes from Cookie?
So in the first half, it felt that although Barry was a 10, he was certainly kind of playing a bit higher up as more as a shadow striker. So in the first half, we just had wingers out on the side.
Flatty's back from the wilderness. 40 days of 40 nights.
Oh! He's back.
Here he is. Here he is. Oh, here he is. There he is. Good old Flatty. Where's he been? Where you been? Where you been, Flatty? Where you been? We've missed you, man. We've missed you. Anyway, Kelly, carry on.
Barry's a good little player. I like him, right? He's quality. And I know, Crunch, we're going to disagree a little bit on the pen. I think in today's game, like 10 years ago, 5-10 years ago, it's not a pen. In today's game, he gets in front of his player.
I thought he's looking for it, wasn't he? He's quite clever.
Well, did you not? Well, listen, as he got the penalty, what did he do? He turned around to us and he had a smile in his face and he celebrated.
He
knew he got one.
Knew what he's doing,
he knew what he did.
You can see that on the highlights and that, Callie. Yeah.
He was there looking like right towards us as well. Like they were all he was celebrating like, oh, the referee got this one. All right, cool. We did nice.
Yeah.
But he showed good little signs, a good little link-up play. He looked better as a kind of second forward. So on the wing, we were a bit light. Whereas when Edwards, and we'll call him Eduardo, as he calls himself by his rap persona name, Promotion Ting here on YouTube.
I saw that,
right? He was jinking past players. His first touch was amazing, great little ball as well. and then he's jinking past plays. He wants the ball. Like your Albion mate said before, he does want to cut inside. So he does cut inside, but then he cut inside and almost hit a worldie. That pass cross shot, I don't know what he was going for, but let's call it a shot.
Look good.
He hit the bar. It looked brilliant. But then we looked a bit more of attacking threat. I like Macaulay Bond, not just because he's a local Ipswich lad and he gets it, but he looks really effective as well. He bullies defenders. Do you know what I mean? I think he was I would start him next game. I would even start him maybe over Joe Piggott and give him a rest or something.
Okay.
We'll see. But it was good, man. It was just wicked to be back. Away end, bouncing, buzzing. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Callie, how does it work in the UK? Did you have to do COVID tests or did you just go in?
Now, COVID didn't make it up to Burton, innit? So it only stays in East Anglia. So in the Midlands, COVID didn't
That's
make
my
it.
goat anyway. That's my goat mine, COVID.
It is.
I'll let Crunch talk about it later, but yeah, there was nothing.
Lee Brown thought Bro was very quiet. Say didn't do a lot for me. Facebook user subs don't work every time. It worked at Morecambe. Adam Flat. Yeah, again, though, I just think it was more like.
It will happen because you can see you can see these players there. Like you got players there that have got quality, and slowly this is 2 league games. Now, okay, the dog ain't agreeing with me, but listen, right? That's the 2 league games, and they're clicking, and it's a slightly different team. Then we're gonna have a new back 4 because 3 of your back 4 are probably gonna go anyway, right? And you'll have Edmondson, that Burgess, and Coulson, along with probably KVY, is what we're saying or whatever. So they go and have to build from that. It will take a few games. Let's review it in September. You can't get too mad about it because listen, we put a tweet out yesterday and it's like, how many times in the last couple of seasons have we started really well, top of the league, all the rest of it, blah blah blah? How did that end up? 10th and 11th in League One.
Kelly,
right?
we're in that. This is our lowest place in the league table for 67 years.
I don't care. I don't care if we keep breaking that record for the next few games and then end of the season we're first or second. Because that's what care. I love stat man, but that's the only stat I care about is the end of the season.
Yeah.
Right. First and second, man.
I'm posting that joke, Kate. By the way, that's too good not to post.
That's okay.
The dog's a big fan of a Bond. That's a classic one, Kate. Good.
Still got it.
Like that.
You can take the girl out lookies. But
you can't take the look he's at the girl. Ben Moore signed Bond on a permanent. Normally won't be here next season. Piggott and Bond up top together. Jason Clatton, did Fraser move into the middle when Edwards came on? No, he didn't. Duncan Ferrer. Nothing has changed. Some way of playing back to the keeper and back yet again. It is not about the penalty. Focus on the whole game. That's the issue. Andrew Harrison, calm down, people. Last 2 seasons we started really well. Look what happened. A slow start. I know. But I can only get better onwards and upwards. Yeah, I think we're playing really well, which is the difference to when Lambert was winning but not playing well.
It's going to flip.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you just said there, when we were getting those 1-0 wins against Gillingham and Bishop scoring these goals and drilling slide tackling a goal into the back of the net and all that. When we're getting those little scrappy wins, you knew eventually the wheels are going to fall off. Here, you can see, okay, it's like you guys do the Formula One thing. The practice laps are getting there. They're getting there. Come the race day, we're at the races and we'll be firing. We've got a team that's going to be. Believe me, Cookie over the next few transfer windows is going to have a team that's going to compete at championship level.
All right. You know Callie, as always, it's been a real pleasure, my brother. Look after yourself. A great comment there. It's going to click. You do feel that. You really do. Going to bring in the Fisherman in a second. Stephen and Colin hopefully can come on tomorrow's night. Extra time.
That was a game, Ryan, yesterday. That was a game where I agree with Cook. You shouldn't have lost that game. You go away from it probably with a draw, thinking possibly you could have won it, and then you move on to the next game. To lose it was really disappointing, and in the manner that they lost it as well. You've given away another sloppy goal, but I don't agree with you that we played well because we didn't play well.
Okay, all right. I
agree with what Kelly said. I actually compared the stats to yesterday to when we beat Burton back in January in that 1-0. Our stats were miles better yesterday than they were.
It's all about the results, Matt. It's a results business because if Fraser scores that goal, we win the game. Takes that penalty.
Talking of results.
But don't overlook the progression that we're trying to make here. The actual performance in terms of stats and possession and passing and shooting outside the box was far better than that 1-0 win at Burton.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of doing that. Go on, Kate. Sorry.
In the post-match, Paul Cook said Burton were excellent. Were they excellent?
No. No, I don't see it. I didn't see it, and I don't like what we're trying to do here in terms of saying we beat them a year ago, but we've gotten beat with better stats. Because at the end of the day, 3 points is all that matters. And
we're talking progression with a new team here, aren't we?
Yeah, but at some point you need that win, and we're going to come to Tuesday night, probably on tomorrow night's show. But
we get to win Tuesday, everyone will have forgotten this conversation, and it will be cooking.
I agree. But the standard has to be a win, is what we do, because I'm not accepting anything I heard some people say last night without saying any names about how it's a draw would be an acceptable result away at Cheltenham. It's Cheltenham. It needs to be a win.
They won League Two, so they've earned the right to come into League One and play us.
You can't. But then equally, you can't say you're building a championship squad and then not go and beat a League Two title.
I've never liked these two get back-to-back away games. I mean, the fixtures were announced.
You can't just go there on your reputation. Look what it's done to Sunderland the last 3 seasons in this league, Martin. We can't just roll up on Tuesday at Cheltenham thinking it's Cheltenham, we're going to roll this lot over 2 or 3-0. You have to get there and earn the right on the pitch to get the 3 points.
You do.
And they dominated Wickham, even though they lost. They dominated on the ball, so they could start very similar to what Burton did yesterday.
And you'll have another big long throw coming in there, Matt, every single time when you're down in the 18-yard box. So
talking of results, it is now 1-0 to the ladies. Maddie Biggs with the goal.
Nice.
Congratulations, Maddie. Well done. 1-0 to the ladies. Hopefully they'll go on to win by a big margin. A few comments, then we'll bring the fishermen in, and then we'll do some goats. H. Didn't you know that Lambert had amazing possession stats? Yeah, padded. Neil Perks, Fraser at 10, Edwards to start, and Burns if fit. Otherwise, give Dobra another start. Bon up top needs to start. Faithfuls went yesterday, enjoyed being back, but we didn't play well. Spent the whole game passing between Wolfie and Donassion and waiting for their guy to take a throw. Stephen, beat the Preston pump. When we win with 2 shots, fans complain. When we don't win with 20, fans complain. Seems pick and choosing. The injuries, before I bring Fishman in, we're trying to make a first 11 gel. I'll ask Kate, then I'll ask that question to Matt. Do the injuries concern you? We've got a number of injuries now starting to pile up. We don't know the severity just yet, but I think it's 5 or 6 off memory. Does that concern you when trying to build an 11 that's got a cohesive chemistry? Okay.
You've got to be concerned. It's like the injuries. Oh, no wins. Oh, the hangover of Evans. And then I don't know. Like, is that accurate?
Oh, I'm going to clip that up for TikTok later on. You watch that out. Matt, over to you. What do you think? You're completely right there, Kate.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? Because they've overhauled the medical team, the science around it. You have to believe, but again, we don't. Again, there's no transparency coming from the club. Are these, are they, as we said on WhatsApp last night? Are they broken legs? Are they minor knocks? What are they? I mean, Edmondson was clearly signed with an injury. He's not featured. And then, as you said, was it the paper said yesterday? Oh, yeah, we knew Chaplin was out, wasn't playing. Maybe it wasn't reported or something. Weird.
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
We're in Botswana. We're in Botswana now, guys.
We are. It does concern me, though, because when you're trying to build an 11 that's learning to play with each other, if you're having to change early because of injuries, that means, yes, players get opportunities, and it does thin the ranks a little bit and make selection headaches a lot easier. But like yesterday, Chaplin wasn't there. I want to have Chaplin playing with Fraser and Pigott as much as you possibly can, but because you're building that chemistry, you're developing the runs, the knowledge. So it does concern me this early, not even out of September yet, and we've already got.
Trying to be a little bit more watertight information coming out the club, so it doesn't. And if we think back to when the leak of the team was on the forum for the Lincoln game, and then Ashton's come in, I don't think they liked particularly that the Selena deal was mentioned on some channels. I just wonder if they're trying to keep cards close to their chest, so not to impact Cookie's team as we head into big games,
or it could be that Cookie sees it as a competitive edge, and he's keeping all those injuries close to his chest. Because last year, if you remember, still missing somewhere in the wilderness is Emir Hughes. Somewhere, I think he's been adopted by aliens. Because
where is that guy?
Even at least he's still not been found from whatever hole he fell into.
I don't know, Matt, but his personality. You listen to Lee Evans there. Sounds a little bit like when Hughes was doing an interview, didn't he?
I thought that as well, actually.
Live in Qatar too. Johnny, link us up with some, Emirates aeroplane sponsorship. We can get.
Oh
some,
no, Qatar Airways, not Emirates. That's another country.
I can't believe we're in Botswana. That's unbelievable.
I must have missed Johnny. We were like this. So
Kate,
big love
you're talking.
to Doha.
Kate, you talk as if I should know aeroplanes. The last airplane I was on was a Ryanair aeroplane. It says it all. It didn't go anywhere. Not happy. Well, that's not a fucking surprise, is it? Jeez.
Oh, hang on. He's soon changed his tune, hasn't he? He's 3 games in.
Right. Please remember their mental health as well, Mike.
Hey, you haven't heard what I've got to say yet. It's a bit pre-judgmental there, Cruncher. Cheers, bud.
We've heard you. We've heard you before. We know what you like.
Well, he's got a name of not happy, so let's hear it, Mike.
Go on then. Go on, Mike. Have you say. Come on. Come on.
I love the fact that Coxie tried to reel me in there. I was like, why is he watching ex-players? It's like watching your ex shag another bloke or another woman. You know what I mean? It's not good, is it? Let's be honest. You know? Anyway, right, back to the game.
Do you know what? I never used to drink until I met you, Mike. Now I'm constantly drinking.
There it is. Views of their own, not the network.
Oh, bless you.
Go on, Mike. Come
anyway.
on. Let's hear it.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I'm not happy. I think we have got to look at Cook's record up until now. I'm not saying I want him out. I'm not saying that at all. But it does worry me. The same things are sort of happening again. You know, we look a little bit. Yesterday's game was more of a concern than the Morecambe game. Morecambe was always going to give us a tough game, but yesterday's game was a bit of a concern for me because it was a lot of passing around the back line. It was a little bit Lambert-esque with better, what I call crisper passes. We had more shots we had more shots. We only had 2 or 3 on target. I'm not a fan of the one up front. I think we could have done with Bonnie and pick it up together. There is a concern. His record's not great at the moment. It is a building process. We are looking to bring new players in. I'm not a fan of Penny at all. What was in his mind to come back and make that tackle in the area, I do not know. Out of the area, fine, but in the area, that was a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, just stand up and go from there. I think Ipswich should sign Martin, the Gov, as their new goalkeeping coach. Do you know what I mean? I mean, what was you are clearly rising above us all when it comes to the goalkeeping, bud. What are you like?
Well, that's not hard, is it?
Well, I mean, you know, I could have saved that. That was such a shocking penalty. You know, little jiggle, run up. It was past him, wasn't it? Wasn't even shot. No laces through it. Hawks was right. Stick your laces through it.
Yeah.
You know, look, I am concerned if we don't beat Cheltenham, I think there'll be more and more fans starting to turn. I think, you know, I know it's only 3 games in, but it's just something not right. Is a little bit of look. Stop using analogies from last season as well, Gov. Green shoots and all that. Everyone's just gone, you know, and we shouldn't be.
He doesn't own the rights to green shoe.
No. Look, I've said it many a times. Until we can get this Evans thought process out of fans' heads, we are not going to move forward as a club. Yeah, we've got to start thinking. You know, we should not be happy with the draw against Morecambe. We should not be happy with a loss against Burton. You know, if you're happy, if you think, okay, well, look, if we keep making excuses, we're never actually really gonna progress as a team, as a club. You know, yesterday it was an okay game. I've seen a lot worse, you know, and I've seen a lot better. But look, we need to give Cook time. I get that, but we can't judge him on this team. We've got to judge him from when he came in. You know. And it's not been great. His record has not been great. He talks a good game, but I'm still
Mike, you slated them players from last season, though. You slated all them players: Downs, Dazelle, Chambers.
Absolutely. And I still wouldn't have them here. I would still have the players we got now than what we had last year. You know, I don't care that these players are playing well for QPR or playing well for Swansea. One game don't make them world beaters.
No.
Well, you know
I mean,
they were part of the problem last season.
Yeah.
You know, they're gone. Let's get rid of them. What we need to be doing now as fans, we need to be, look, we're allowed to question the coach. We're allowed to question the formation. We're allowed to question certain decisions and certain substitutions and how goals are conceded, etc. Like that's our right as fans. But what we don't have, what we should be doing, right, is not accepting. Colin was spot on, you see, not accepting mediocrity.
Okay.
If we start accepting that, we may as well have kept Evans and gone down to League Two.
Perfect. Mike, as always, appreciate you. Do not accept mediocrity, says Mike Matt. What do you say back to that? Because Daniel Hill makes a great point in the chat here. Agree, if we don't beat Cheltenham, then we all know the atmosphere Saturday against MK Dons will be tense and edgy.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't accept mediocrity. No, I totally agree. But you have to accept at the start of a process. You know, what they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And we've ripped, Cook's been the demolition man. He's ripped up that squad. He's brought in a whole raft of players who are believing in a project and believing in Ashton. And no one's happy with the results. Absolutely. But you have to see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture right now is 44 games, starting with Cheltenham on Tuesday. Hopefully we can get a win down there. I still think that's a really difficult game, as we've already discussed previously. But you have to see the bigger picture. It's a long old season. Same as sprint, it's a marathon. But don't accept mediocrity. No, I totally agree with that as well, yeah.
Rich, we were at the Q&A together. We were told to expect a bumpy ride. We were told not to win every single game. We were told to stick together. Were those words not falling on deaf ears when everyone listened? Or because this is...
I think I touched on this. I think it was either Thursday or Friday, Martin. And this isn't just an Ipswich problem. It's just... football in general nowadays, social media, you know, we never had it back in. George Burley came in, he had a poor start. John Lyle came in, he had a poor start. Even Bobby Robson, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'll just take it with a pinch of salt, really. And is it unexpected that we've started slowly? No, it isn't. It's a brand new team. It's nearly a brand new football club from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And it's not suddenly... If we win the first two games, we haven't won the league. We've got 1 point from 2 games. Yeah, we're sitting 16th in the league. That 10 to 12 games, you look at that league table when it's taking shape, then that's the time to really have a look and judge where we are. But I'm not concerned. If we don't win on Tuesday, does that concern me? Yeah, a little bit. Because I think we should be going to Cheltenham, really, and we should really be beating them. But that'll be a tough game because, like I said, we can't just go on the name of Ipswich Town. That has got us nowhere in this league the last 2 seasons. And we started well the last 2 seasons, didn't we, under Paul Lambert? And everyone was 27 points from 11. I think we got 16 from 6 last season. And look where we all ended. So if we have a little bit of a slow start and then we sort of kick on from there. But
I agree with that. I was just going to say, I agree with all of that. It feels different in the sense of under Lambert with those points returned. You always felt it was false. You always felt it was
Tractor Boy Botswana knows his onions. When I come to Fortress Portman Road, I want to go drinking with a cruncher. Come on!
But it just felt hollow. Whereas this feels different. This feels like you just wait and, as Kate said, fine tune the engine. Kate, you've heard the fans, you've heard Matt and Rich. But someone asked in the chat, how long do you give Cookie? How long are you giving Cookie before we move on?
Okay, so my old boss in Atlanta is currently in Hong Kong and huge football fan. Is actually moving back to East Anglia. It's from Suffolk. And we were texting today. He's in Hong Kong and I'm obviously in Singapore. We both came to the conclusion that we give Paul Cook till November. So
okay, November. Would you be happy?
Yeah,
would you be happy with that? Is that a you thing? Is that when you say you both came to the conclusion? Like, could you?
Yeah,
last night you were saying you weren't happy with Cook. So
right. Well, I don't want to be accused of being a bedwetter and all the rest of it.
Heaven forbid.
He's on fire today. He's on fire.
And I want to be like cool, calm, and collected, but it's just very difficult. And I know the season's so early. I know it's a new team, and I know it's like a whole new group of players. It's just worrying, right? Because you just don't. I don't know. I still feel a bit stung by Paul Lambert I still feel, I just feel a bit sort of sad about that and wouldn't want that to sort of repeat itself. That's all.
I miss that sweet print. Sean, spot on, Crunch. We can't go on name. We are Ipswich. Yeah, I missed that poster more than anything. Yes, but we've been rubbish for 20 years, so we have no right to think we should win. I feel this team will come.
Is there not a little bit of it still in your garden somewhere?
No.
Not blown under the hedge?
No, that's all blown over. Right,
look,
let's have a bit of...
Look, we are getting a bit carried away because we've got 3 really winnable games coming up. We've got Cheltenham away and then we've got 2 home games. And if we're sitting here in a couple of weeks' time with another 9 points on the board, we'll all be feeling a lot better and everyone will be feeling a little bit calmer.
We will be. Honestly, I think we're going to go on a little run and it'll all be fine. It'll all be good. We're playing well. I think we're playing good.
I just looked up the stats. So Blackpool now sitting in the Championship, played Cardiff yesterday. They lost 5 of their first 10 games. I wonder if everyone was going, get this guy we've never heard of, Critchley, back to Liverpool. In the end, he took them up and they finished 3rd place. So
I hate the Blackpool analogy. I hate the Blackpool. Every time I hear it, it grates on me. I just like...
They lost 2 of their last 22, one of which was at Portman Road, believe it or not.
There you go. Who was in charge that day? Was it Cookie or was it Lambo?
Can't remember, actually.
Lambert was still there then.
I think it might have been Lambo, yeah.
Yeah.
If I speak, Arthur Wilding, love this content and supporting from far off North Wales. Old figure, but still a fan. Syndicated hold at Portman Road in 60s. Disappointing start, but Phil portion quite cookable. I'm going to drop the goats. I'm going to ask you a question here.
Hey, drop the goats. I've got a very important goat. Relevant to yesterday's game as well. Do you mean I'll just touch on it now. So we all went to the first game against Morecambe. COVID protocols. You've got to either have your double jab, show proof, or your lateral flow test for anyone over 11. Fair enough. I think that's a fair enough. We rock up at Burton yesterday. We're all crammed in the terraces, and you just stroll in like normal. And even in the Premier League today, it's Spurs. Spurs have got the same protocols as we have, and there's other teams. Man United yesterday had 75,000. They were just probably, you might get a spot check. Now, I just find it a little bit baffling that there's sort of it's either one way or the other. You know, I think Town are doing the right thing, to be quite honest.
What are they doing?
Look, you've got if you've had your double jab, Kate, you've got to show proof of that. If you haven't had that and you are over 11, you have to show your negative test from your lateral flow.
No,
which I think is right.
48 hours beforehand. So
and I think that is right because it takes a little bit of time to get into the stadium, but if everybody knows what they're doing, you turn up a little bit earlier, don't you?
Well, it's interesting you raise it on this show because Kate's obviously covered American sports where it's a league. It's always league-wide things. I can never work out why the EFL, why the Premier League don't just stamp down this is what's happening, like the NFL do, for example.
Definitely.
Are you surprised at hearing what Crunch is saying there, Kate?
So I guess because where I'm from, and we've lived here for several months now, you get accustomed to where you live. So there are very strict protocols here compared to the UK. So Cruncher, hearing that, I would be absolutely petrified to go to Burton. I know people watching this would be like, oh, that's crazy, that's an overreaction. But if I get sick, who's going to care for my 1-year-old? Like, my husband works full time. So, like, that's what I think. Like, what's my family going to do if I'm out sick? So, I wouldn't have, well done you, Crunch, for going, but I would have just been too scared to go. And I think it would have ruined if I had gone, it would have just like ruined my enjoyment because I would just have that.
You're always in the boss seats anyway, Kate, when you go, aren't you?
No.
But Mike Brown's coming up, mine.
She is. You don't go to games when you have had the MMA.
Anyway, Mike Brown don't go anyway, so it's irrelevant what he's saying.
Oh, you're cruel. You are
that bad.
What have you got for us?
You've sprung that on me, haven't you? We're going to have a little movie quiz. You all got a question. Famous movie quiz. Going to start with Richard Spellman first. Royale with cheese. What's that from?
Don't know. Not a movie fan.
Burger King.
Well, I was going to say Burger King.
Royale with cheese. Kate, do you know that one? Royale with cheese.
Ratatouille.
Martin.
Casino Royale.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp.
Rubbish. Show Me the Money. Go on, Martin. You know that one. Show Me the Money.
Godfather.
Oh my God. What the worst?
I don't watch movies.
Jerry Maguire. All right, here we go with our last one. If you build it, he will come.
Fuck me, we're awful.
No idea. Famous quote. Build it, he will come. People in the comments, put it up. Field of Dreams.
Which is Pulp Fiction. Everyone's got Pulp Fiction in there.
Yeah.
Stephen Parry says Bob the Builder, Matt.
Yeah, that's about right.
Field of Dreams, famous baseball movie starring Kevin Costner. There we go. Legacy Bates has got it. Field of Dreams. Well, this week, it's a famous film, 89. It's about a farmer who hears that in his voice. Build it and he will come. He feels the desire to build this baseball diamond, and he's visited by ghosts from the 1990 Chicago White Sox team who were banned from baseball for match fixing. So they visit him in the film. So Major League Baseball decided to replicate the film, as you saw there on the screen there. They rebuilt the stadium in Iowa, which is where the film is based, in a cornfield. And they played the Chicago White Sox versus the New York Yankees there in front of 8,000. All the players didn't come out of the dressing room. They came out through the field, as you can see there on the screen. Very exciting game. Ended up 9-8 to the Chicago White Sox. Everything harked back there to 1919. So the scoreboard there is like a big lump of wood. There's Eloy Jimenez out in left field there with a barn next to him.
Love that shot.
That's brilliant, isn't it? The cornfields of Iowa. And lovely shot there with the sunset. It was a great game, like I say, 9-8. And Kevin Costner came out, he threw the first pitch. It was brilliant. So if you've seen Field of Dreams, just put in Field of Dreams 2021 into YouTube. You can watch it back. It's really good.
He was also in Bull Durham.
Yeah, another great baseball movie. Yeah.
That was filmed right, and that was airing right before I had the baby. So that's what it makes me think of. So.
You got into it. But yeah, everyone always says, don't they, baseball always harks back to nostalgia. They love it. And everyone keeps saying we always look back in the Ipswich history. But, you can take great comfort from our history. Your Bobby Robsons, your Alf Ramseys, the new mural down the side of the Cobbold stand. Baseball does that all the time. So I never think we should shy away from that. We should always embrace it, I think.
I wonder how many other sports have had games created based off films, though. Like, normally it's the film that's based off the sport, not the other way around,
Yeah. I think it's just it's a good point. It's so integral in baseball, law, basically, that Field of Dreams. So it was great, to actually, it must have cost them a mint, wasn't it? To actually build a stadium in the middle of a field.
It'll make them a fair bit, though, wouldn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Right, what you got for us, Rich? Punch and Tackle, sponsored by Manscaped. Get 20% off with the code TT, manscaped.com. Make your testes their besties.
So, I don't know if everyone in the chat knows, I'm more of a cricket fan than a football fan. That might shock everyone. Since I was a little boy, I love cricket. Loved it when I was older, playing a Saturday, playing a Sunday. You go out on a Saturday night with your mates, have a hangover on the Sundays. So, I know football's, like Matt, there was a few stats earlier you said about Town yesterday. Cricket is a game full of stats, isn't it, Matt?
Yes,
Yesterday, Joe Root he went second on the all-time run list. I don't know if you know that, Matt. He passed. Who did he pass? You should know this.
Oh, that's difficult. That
you know, because I'm sending it to you, so you're not entered.
All right. Give me a clue. Give me a clue on this one.
Well, he was a legend at Essex. If you don't get it, get him out.
Gucci.
There you go. So Graham Gooch was on 8,900, and he's gone second on the list to another Essex great. Who is that, Matt?
Cookie.
Yeah, Sir Alistair. Yeah. So I've got a few stats here. Aged 30 years and 227 days. He became the second youngest to 9,000 runs. It was his 22nd Test century yesterday, and there's only Cookie and KP ahead of him. 11th score of 150 or more, joint with Cook. 4th score of 150 or more in 2021. And then if Martin puts up his stats from 2021 this year, it's just, look at them. Incredible.
10 tests.
His form is so good. He scored more Test centuries in 2021 than the Indian team, New Zealand and South Africa.
Wow. So, that's impressive, isn't it?
There you go. And he's so now he's got 9,067 runs, Matt, and he's 3,405 behind Cook. And he's played 107 tests. Cookie played 161. So I reckon about another 3.5 years. And Joe Root's only about, 30, 31, and he'll play for another 6 or 7 years. And it's just, cricket it's an interesting game because it is obviously a team game, cricket, but it's so much based on stats, isn't it? When you look at James Anderson, he's gone third on the list behind Muralitharan and Warne, and he's got 620 odd test wickets, and he reminds me of Benjamin Button. Talking about films, Matt, James Anderson, because he just gets better with age, and he still looks. He does something to his hair. I'm sure his hair always looks dark.
I can't stand cricket. I think it's probably one of the worst games ever created. Leighton Durrant, I went to the Ashes 2 years ago at Headingley. Didn't see any cricket. Just got blathered. Whatever happened to KP before we move on? Like, has he now officially retired? Is he going to be back?
Yeah, he does a lot. He's big into, I think, saving the rhinos, isn't he, in South Africa? He's really big into that. He's does a lot of commentating now. It's actually, I was talking to Matt Stannard yesterday. So he's going to Cheltenham on Tuesday, and then he's staying down there, and he's going down to Cardiff, Matt, on Wednesday night for the 100. He's going to watch the 100. So I don't know if you've watched that. Look, if you don't like cricket, Martin, just put that on. I went round my parents last night. It's a Saturday night. They've got BBC Two on and the 100's on, and there's fireworks going off. There's music. You'd probably be into that because it's just smash it. It's over in about 2.5, 3 hours. You can have a few beers.
I watched that.
Like fishing Mike Brown. That's boring.
No, honestly,
get in the bin.
God's honest truth now. On the sofa, I couldn't sleep, so I stuck it on. Next thing I know, it's morning. Cornflake time. It was perfect. It was brilliant.
I used to sit up, Matt. In the 90s, when I was younger, I'd sit up all night when we were in Australia. I'd have Sky on. My dad had come down to work about 4 a.m, and there was me. Cricket still blaring away, and I'm zedded on the sofa.
I don't think we've got cricket fans in the comments by the looks of things.
They're with me. They're with me. They're with me, and I can't blame them.
Cricket, Kate?
Don't mind it. We're more of a baseball family here.
Top work. Right, football-related stuff. Colchester's first home game yesterday. How many do you think they had through the door for their first home game after the COVID?
Was it less than Burton?
You're guessing. This is your turn to guess now. How many do you think they had through their doors in a 10,000-seater stadium?
4,000-ish.
4,000.
Yeah, how many were they allowed? Are you only allowed a certain amount? You're not allowed to sell out?
No. Everyone can go in. They can all go in.
Unrestricted now, Kate. You can have 10,000 to 10,000 if you wanted, if you could fill it.
I'm going with Ben Moore, 3,000.
Ben Moore, 3,000. Cruncher, you got 3 and you got 4. You're going to go high. You're going to go low. You're going to middle.
That was Northampton, wasn't it? Northampton, 2,937.
You're pretty close. 2,772.
Wow.
Which has prompted. That's not well. It's prompted today a statement from Robbie Cowling in regards to the disappointing turnout yesterday. Apologising effectively for the COVID restrictions that he's placed, because what he's done is he's not kept it the same way Town have, for example. He's trying to space people out.
Yeah,
so you go there with your groups, but you're spaced out and everything else. So he's apologising basically for trying to keep some of the restrictions and etc. Really
it's a Chambers effect. You'd have thought there'd be fans falling through the door, wouldn't they? Really? Come on.
Well, it's funny.
No one wants to see those Ipswich veterans.
It's funny you should say that, because the Ipswich veteran side, in August, have now played, I think it's 3 games and not scored a single fucking goal.
Whoa, what a surprise.
They got beat by Birmingham 1-0, beat yesterday 1-0, and they were beat opening day 2-0, 1-0. 0-0. They're yet to score a goal. Surprise, surprise. You'll be thoroughly shocked. Right, Fantasy Football League. A quick roundup. Kate, you're not doing very well. You got 0 points, I saw on your Facebook yesterday.
Well, no, I'm up to like 30 now.
Ooh, 30.
How many got in it, Martin? How many we got in?
Well, according to this, we have got 144. So that's how many people got in it. Last place is Martin.
Absolutely rinsed yesterday. Ollie and Archie were absolutely rinsing me at the game when they've got Bruno Fernandes and he gets a hat trick. We're on the way home. And I was on the phone to the GOAT, and he gave us a great commentary on Mo Salah's the goal that he banged in the top, and Ollie's obviously got him, and he was half asleep, but he was loving it, and he's like, "Yeah, Colin, this is how Colin was. Let's just watch it back on the replay. Yeah, he's got the ball in the D on the 18-yard box, and he called it postage stamp, Matt. Postage stamp right in the top corner. Anyway, they are going to get an absolute trouncing next Saturday, Norwich, because they got Man City away.
No, exactly. I had Salah, I had Fernandes, so I'm currently sat in 18th place. I'm the highest contributor there is. Actually, no, I said a lie. Mark Tuxford's one above me with 1 point. He's in 12th.
So Andy Gray yesterday, did he score 96 points?
Not my team forever, Andy Gray. Yeah, his team.
Because did you know, Kate, one time in a season, you know you have your captain you pick who gets double points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can do triple,
you can have
captain, right?
Triple captain.
But you can only use it once.
Do it once.
He did Fernandes, did he?
I think so. I've got Callum Wilson, and he scored this afternoon, and Cresswell's got an assist. So,
okie dokie. Right, Fearsome Prediction League is also up for week 3. Man City Norwich is in our prediction league this week, as is Ipswich Town MK Dons. Cambridge are playing. Let me just get that off the screen. Burton. And Oldham are playing Colchester.
That's the wrong way round, Martin. That's the wrong way round.
What is?
Cambridge Burton.
I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things, really.
It does. Of course it does.
Does it?
Yeah, of course it does.
Okay.
No, doesn't it matter? Come on.
Okay, so when it's no. So when it's Burton Old Cambridge, what are you going for?
When it's what?
Burton versus Cambridge, what are you going for?
Where is it at?
When it's Burton versus Cambridge,
where is it at? Where is it at?
When it's at Burton, what are you going for?
When it's at Burton.
Yes.
When it's at Burton, I'll go for a Burton win. But if it was at Cambridge, I probably might go for a Cambridge win or a draw.
Don't go for Mike, because now I'm going to hold you to this, because there'll be the reverse fixture later on. I'm going to make sure you go for a win. If you don't, I'm docking your points, son. Which would be hard because you've got 0 points.
You forgot by then anyway. You forgot what happened last week.
As Ben Moore says, we're only putting scores. Who cares? It's like, it's irrelevant.
No. What was the score yesterday in Trimley Red Devils game?
Yeah. What was the score?
7-0 to Trimley Red Devils.
Oh, my God.
I know. That surprised everybody, including them, I would have thought.
Yes.
I'm going to have some goals tomorrow night on the show, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to have
63 likes. 63 likes so far.
Boom. We've got Steve on the show. We've got Colin on the show. We've got Ben Miltray Adams on the show tomorrow and TJ on the show tomorrow, looking at Burton Fallout some more, and of course Cheltenham.
Hey, and maybe Cameron Burgess through the building.
Well, let's touch on that very quickly. Obviously, big centre half. Coleman, we're a big fan of Coleman here on the show, but he has confirmed that he's on the way to Ipswich. Andy Holt this morning, a great
really good thread. Really good thread from Andy Holt. If you haven't seen it, guys, I think you should go and look at it.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts in regards to Burgess coming in? He probably won't come in time for Saturday. As H already says, he's crooked. There's reports that he's injured.
Been playing with a knock. Been playing through the pain barrier.
So what are your thoughts on this defender signing? And we'll take it in turns. Who wants to kick us off?
Well, he's only been at Accrington for a year, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So he's done a season there. He was at Salford and Scunthorpe. Obviously comes a good pedigree. It's a good deal for Accrington. Like as Andy said, they got him for nothing and they've probably sold him $750,000, do you think? Something along those lines. Bit annoying he's injured though. I was hoping he might go, as I said on Twitter earlier, I was hoping he might go straight into the team for Cheltenham, but he don't normally get injured either. I think he played 44 out of the 46 for Accrington last season. Just not like he's coming here with an injury.
It's only a knock though, I think, Matt, isn't it?
Is that what it is? Yeah, so I mean, look, it's going to be him and Edmondson, isn't it, as the two centre halves then going forward? 100%. Good signing. Looks of things. He's an Australian Scotsman, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes. Crunch signing another injured defender. I don't know how you. I don't know.
He's only got a knock, Martin. It's hardly he's got a leg hanging off, is it?
Well, hang on. Edmondson's. He ain't been seen since he got signed. Apparently, he doesn't.
If he misses 2 or 3 games, if he misses 2 or 3 games and he's fit for it, it doesn't matter. I think we're making. You're losing your mind already. Just calm down.
Are you a bed
on it?
Sorry,
he is a bedwetter, definitely.
Sorry,
he's a bedwetter. He is. He don't sleep in bed.
I support Ipswich Town Football Club where knocks turn into players that never get seen for years.
Yeah, that is true.
You're talking as if we've never had an injury crisis. Every year we have players that are injured with knocks and miss weeks and weeks and weeks. And now we're talking about players that need to gel with each other.
That's why you have a squad, and that is
why
I said
crap, man.
No, I'm not. That's why I said on the pre-season preview, you need a squad. The 11 is not going to win your promotion. You're going to be 18 to 20 players who are going to get you promoted.
Well, in that case, you can't possibly use gelling a team as an excuse, because in your world, Mr. Tinkerman, Claudio Ranieri sat over there, you're going to be rotating every single week. So in that case,
I'm saying you're going to suffer injuries. Everyone suffers injuries.
Us more than ever. Us more than
Ipswich more than ever. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I couldn't disagree with you more here, Rich. I really couldn't. Call me a bedwetter all you like. There's about 1 million centre halves in the country, and we have to find 2 that are injured.
It is annoying.
If they're the 2 that you want and you rate them that highly, and they've got a knock and they're going to miss 3 or 4 games, you go and sign them.
He's in.
You might sign another one. He might come in the first game he plays. He might get injured as well, Martin. It's part and parcel of the game.
Well, he signed now, according to the comments.
He has. I'm watching a video right now of the. They've recycled the medical video. I mean, it was good, but
I did like that one.
Yeah, but not twice in a row. I mean, why
can't
we just sign people anymore?
The king of content here.
Why can't we just sign people anymore with a bloke with a shirt? What is wrong with
Barry
a bloke
singing?
with a shirt?
Did we have Barry singing again? I like that. I like that. Come on.
Gonna do it again.
But that's 15. That's 15 we've signed now.
Yeah.
He's having a medical, so I'd question the medical really, because Edmondson's arrived and no one's seen him. I mean, he's made one public appeal. So we know he exists. So we know he exists. We know he's definitely an actual person that we've signed, and
he'll be there soon.
Soon, yeah. How soon? We're shipping goals according to the chat. So, and Wolfenden and Donatian can't be our 2 centre halves forever, surely. Or do you? Because at what point do you say, well, them 2 have done nothing wrong as a combination? You 2 that we've spent best part of probably $1 million on, you sit and you watch. At what point do you? It's a fair question. At what point do you say? Because yesterday, for me, Donatian and Wolfenden did nout wrong as a pair.
He did all right, I thought. Do you know he played on that left side as we thought he would.
Great.
So there you go. You've all sit on the bench, you 2. Watch these 2 go about the business, no?
Yeah.
Or do you throw them in?
They're going to be the pairing, aren't they? They've got to be.
Yeah.
They've got to be. Bit more than $500,000 on them. That's if we spent $1 million on Donatian too. So.
Chris Boyd. Well, that was a long situation, wasn't it? Oh, jeez, Louise. Chris Boyd. Injuries are a big part of the reason we're in League One and why we didn't bounce back up in the last 2 seasons. Our fitness record is appalling, and we're supposed to be behind us. Nothing to worry about according to Crunch over there. Dr. Nick over there.
If you have a couple of knocks, like Chaplin, how much has he really trained since what was he doing before he come to us? Did he have a pre-season? We don't know where these players are at, Martin, and that is why you have a squad. We ain't getting promoted with 11 players.
All right. We all need to calm down here before we lose our heads, just like Albert Adoma did midweek, Matthew.
Oh, I'll see that live. What was he doing?
Larson Torre.
They just qualified for the Champions League there, Mark.
I know. He went crazy, didn't he? He went crazy. Yeah.
Beating Arundel and Leighton Orient is a tough task.
Scored again yesterday.
2 goals he's got now.
Yeah, he's looking good.
I know he scored. My phone blew up, and I was like, "Oh, for flips!" So.
Everybody in the chat, if everyone in the chat can if he ever scores this season, make sure you either tweet Martin, send him a DM because he hates it, and just keep tagging him in.
We've got an Orient fan at our gym, and he said he's found a club that he loves. So he's now doubled his output.
It's a trigger word for me. It was a big. I feel myself rage inside every time I read the word or hear the word. So yes, please stop scoring, Drinan. Thank you. Ladies 2-0, says Mr. Parry. What, Rich?
And just hit the bar.
Right, we're done. Kate, anything?
I'll give a quick shout out. Can I give a quick shout out?
Yeah.
To my long-suffering wife. It's her birthday tomorrow, so I'm missing I'd love to go to Cheltenham Tuesday, I really would. But we're going to Saxmundham. You know all about that, Martin, up the top there. Don't worry about that. So we're off to Saxmundham. We're staying there for a couple of days. We're going to go to Southwold. We're going to go to Aldeburgh. So happy birthday, Suzanne.
Yeah,
hope you have a couple of days with me.
Happy birthday. Yeah, have a great time. Sounds good.
Happy birthday, Suzanne.